Not. Welcome to Stirring the Pot with Lou Marconi and Johnny Cleveland, part of the Fanatical L's Network. Fans first. Join us now. Oh, welcome, Lou.
Hey,
howdy.
How you doing?
On this pre-election evening,
Yes.
we're talking.
Did you vote early or are you voting tomorrow?
No, I'm going to vote tomorrow.
I'll be there tomorrow. Well, I won't be where you're at.
I won't. Yeah. Well, so last night, yesterday, we were coming in. So I was going to ask you. So, like, you live on the east side. So I was up in Geneva on the lake with my family, and we had a great weekend up there. Just wonderful opportunity, fun times. Wineries and everything. And then my daughter Mariah, who happened to be in town, the one that lives out in Seattle, she came in a couple days ago. So she and I went to the Browns game. But when we came into town, and I knew you had talked to me about, I took the green line, but I didn't pick it up at the green exit. I picked it up at the Shaker Square.
That's fine. That'll work too.
So we found a spot. We drove around Shaker Square.
Was that by Michael's Diner over there?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
And so we parked in the grocery store parking
you can
lot.
do that. Uh-huh.
Okay. But then there was a sign saying that you could be towed or whatever but anyhow, we didn't care. So and then we took 10 minutes to figure out which direction the train was going, because we're both really bad with directions. So then we were looking at the sun, trying to figure, okay, is this train? So then we figured, we saw some other Browns fans. With gear on. It was it was like 11:45 maybe when we were there. It's a real quick ride there, but
no, but the train that Sherry took, because Harvey and I got on the 9:30. We were fine. We got there, we got some food at Tower City, and then we went and hung out a little bit. I ran into Lauren, who was a guest on Sherry's last Wednesday night show. But Sherry, her train took forever. For some reason, it was supposed to be a half-hour trip. It took an hour, and God. Yeah, so she got there later. I found her at halftime.
Okay.
And but yeah, that was that. I'm trying to think.
Do you pick it up? I mean, did you take the train in? Do you get on the green exit? Is that what you?
Yeah, Green Road. Green.
So does that run every I looked at the schedule and I wasn't sure if it was running at the
every
same...
night. There's one every half hour.
Okay.
That shows.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they run more trains on game days too for some reason. So
right. Well, I think that green stop is where my grandmother used to live off of Green Road.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She lived out in Shaker Heights,
near South Euclid.
South Euclid, yeah, because that's the one that Sherry takes. She's in South Euclid, and I'm in Jaga County. So
you drive in and then park.
Yep, it's a lot easier for me. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
Well, I was even talking with Harvey about it. Was that it was the weather was great that day and everything, but that was about the only thing. I mean, it was just I kind of started. I'm watching these games now because we were going in. It's in I got an article coming out tomorrow. It's going to say tough times don't last, but tough fans do. And I'm talking about the Browns because as a beat reporter, I want to be different than what the other ones are doing. And one of the things I like to do is when I'm tailgating and I'm at the Muni lot or at City Hall or at West 3rd and Summit with the Top Dog tailgates, I like to talk to people and get their feel. What they think and what they feel, even though as right or wrong, however they feel, whether it's informed or uninformed, just tell me so I can that's what I can write about.
Sure.
And there was one guy that was very funny because he was complaining that we almost lost the game at Baltimore because Stefanski didn't manage the clock correctly, that we left too much time on the clock with Cedric Tillman's touchdown. And I just said, well, Stefanski wasn't calling the plays.
Right.
And he's like, but he's the coach. Well, I said, okay, but he wasn't calling the play. I mean, they had, and you don't know. Winston could have audibleized and got. I mean, you scored a touchdown. You scored a touchdown. I mean,
what did you suspect? I mean, you have 57 yards of total offense in that first half.
Yep.
After he had thrown for 300 and 1,000 yards in the
People
first
were
game.
saying that
Yeah,
that the Chargers had the top ranked defense in the league, and
they're very solid.
they
Yes.
they they have a way better defense. That Baltimore's pass defense is the worst in the league. So it was just one of those. It could have been a matchup thing. I think also the run game really wasn't going working for us either. And plus, when you get down, when your defense gives up big plays and you're down 17 points, you get
Right.
away from the run real easily.
Right.
But in the second, I said, watch in the second half, we're going to have a better offense out here, and they did. And
Mhm.
you weren't there for the third quarter.
Well, I was there. So we stayed.
I thought you said you left at
Well,
halftime.
I know. So what? Well, I stayed into the third quarter, and
Hmm.
they got the ball down all the way down to the goal line practically,
And they
and
threw the
we
interception.
threw the interception that got tipped and then got picked off, and
Yeah,
then right about that time,
it was
I think we
basically
stayed for
volleyed.
maybe.
It was volleyed from one
Yeah.
defensive
So
back
then
to the
what? So
other.
we left. It was like the probably the 8 or 9 minute mark, 7, 8 minute mark of the third quarter.
That was a
But then
7 minute drive. That was like a seven
yeah,
eight
and then
minute drive.
but didn't they then they got the ball back? It sounded like they were driving again, and he did the same thing or something similar. Like he
Something
threw.
similar, something similar. Yeah, he had three interceptions. So I mean,
Yeah.
you can't blame Deshaun Watson. You can't blame Stefanski playing.
No, I can't. No.
You can't. You could if you wanted to. I just and I was telling you, we talked a little bit before the show. I just was just saying, like, man, I since I don't just because I kind of look at the body language and kind of get the
Yeah.
feel for what they're doing. And I'm not saying they're tanking this season now,
No.
but I'm saying they're playing younger guys in certain positions just to see what they've got so they know what to do this next offseason.
Yeah.
And one of them was the thing that I liked really liked that I'm encouraged by. Let me just say
Yeah.
is seeing Dewan Jones playing left tackle instead of Jed Wills. Jed Wills is not being going to be back next year.
No.
He's not. I think it's and that and I don't think Jed Wills was Andrew Berry's worst draft pick. I think Andrew Berry's worst draft pick was Siaki Ika because
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
he was the worst. Now
Where's he now these days?
I don't know. He just wasn't a good draft pick. I don't know
Right.
who wanted him, who thought he would. He didn't really do anything. But at the same time, he brought in guys like Maurice Hurst. He brought in Shelby Harris. He
Mhm.
drafted Michael Hall. So I mean, there's other things he's done. Plus, the other draft picks, like the Cedric Tillman pick, looks pretty good now.
Yes.
Um,
I wish
Marvin,
he had caught that touchdown pass early in the game
yeah,
before the interception.
yeah.
He got
I stayed the
nailed.
whole game. I stayed the whole game.
Well, in the first half though, he had that one that hit him in the hands. The guy popped him, and he dropped it
Yeah,
even
he
before the
dropped
guy
it.
hit
Yeah.
it. But man, that would because then the next play, I think it was the pass that got deflected in the third quarter. It was the play in the third quarter,
Was
that
it?
opening drive
I
where they
think
went
so.
down and Cedric Tillman dropped it.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. But yeah, Miles Garrett, like you said, had three
Three
sacks.
sacks.
Amazing moment there where he
We
had
had
two.
six total. We had six total, and so did
Yeah.
the Chargers had six
But
total.
after the game, they were talking to him about everything in that moment, and they were asking him, how do you feel like you get all those sacks and then they throw the ball these deep passes for touchdowns, and he agreed it's deflating. It's
Oh,
tough. I mean,
the air went out of the stadium when that happened.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
same thing with that interception early when almost halfway through the third quarter after we drove all that way, then
Yeah.
we turned it over in the end zone. It's just like, dude, we that would have been
Now,
it
how do
would
you
have
compare to the energy like yesterday? See, like when Mariah and I got to the game, my daughter, she was saying how she didn't think that the crowd was really into
no,
it.
no,
Even at the beginning of the game, she said,
no,
well, she's been to Seattle, she's been to Buffalo, she's been to Kansas City with me a few times.
no, they weren't
And
into it. When you're
yeah,
2-6 and
yeah,
it's hard to be. I mean, yeah, last week they were, and because we
yeah,
beat them out, I think we get it, I don't know. It's just this has been a strange season,
right. Yeah.
to
I
say
don't
the
know how to
least.
put like it is such a strange, and I don't know. There's a lot of talk, including myself. I mean, talking about Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry. Is Kevin on the hot seat? Is
I
Andrew
said
Berry in the hot seat?
I haven't heard anything yet, to be honest with you, and I'm saying yet. I said as of today, I don't think they are. I think they just got extended. I think they meet regularly with the owner, and the owner's like, okay, what are we doing? What's the plan? I think
Mhm.
that's what he wants to do. Um, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say anybody that wants to comment. Oh, here we go.
No.
Speaking of comment, we got one. All right, here we go. I got it on here. All right, thank you, Brian. Yeah, anybody that wants to do this. I mean, if you want Stefanski gone, okay, you're entitled to that opinion. But if he does leave, there's something you cannot do. You cannot bitch 2 years later when he's successful somewhere else that you want him back. But no, you can't do that. We can't Baker Mayfield this.
No. How is Baker doing tonight? Anybody know how he's doing against Kansas City? I heard he almost threw a couple interceptions at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I don't. He's right. He was.
By the way, I just do want to point this out. Obviously, we are a Browns podcast, and thank you for coming out and watching us here on YouTube, on the X, on Facebook, and listening to our podcast on Apple, on Spotify. We really appreciate all of that. I know Lou does a lot of writing too for Fans First. So, but we are wearing our Browns gear, and I know your article. You said it's coming out tomorrow about being a fan.
Like I said, I said we can argue. The way I ended it was we can argue about who's the best fans in the league and all this stuff. We are the most loyal. Also, we're the toughest because nobody has endured what we've endured for the last 30 years.
Right.
And I'm actually I want to do an article later on this week. And when I had Mike Davis on, and he was a Dallas guy, and I was explaining what we saw happened in 1995 and 96. Really,
I caught a little bit of that interview when you were talking.
Yeah, and that. I said that was the equivalent of the death penalty of Southern Methodist.
Yes, you were talking about SMU when you were doing. Yeah, I heard
and he was just, and that was one of the best 30 for 30s I've ever watched, because I remember I was 14 when it happened, but I didn't know all the details of it. Yeah. So when I watched that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But back today, it's legal. You could do it today. What they were doing, but back then,
there was change the subject back to the coaching stuff with Stefanski. Yeah. So the New Orleans Saints fired their coach today. Did you see that?
They did.
Yeah, the Saints fired. Was he a new guy? Wasn't he just there?
He took over for Peyton. He took over for Sean Payton. Yeah.
How long? So
I know the Raiders fired their offensive coordinator and offensive staff.
Oh, they did. Wow.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I know that. So wow. Now
the Saints will have a new coach when the Browns play them.
There'll be an interim coach now.
It's the interim coach. Yeah.
Is Derek Carr playing for him or no?
He was the other day.
He was. Okay, I remember he was hurt, and they had Rattler out there, and Rattler's like god awful.
Well, that's a good question.
Well, think about it. Jameis Winston's going to go back to the Saints and play in New Orleans.
Ooh, there you go.
There we go. Right about that. You're right about that. There you go. No, back to it. I'm not going to say for sure that, but the way they're acting is like, okay, here we are 2-7. We got to figure out what we have. We got to work towards how we're going to change this and fix this. Let's see who we can have at the younger guys' positions, who we're going to get rid of. We got the trade deadline tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna say I could see Zadarius Smith leaving. I could see maybe Greg Newsome.
Did you notice when Zadarius Smith ran out? I don't know if you were watching the pregame, but when they were introducing the players, Zadarius Smith, when he ran out, I just thought to me, I'm reading too much into this probably, but he did his big kiss to the fans, like a big goodbye. like a goodbye kiss, like thank you, and I said to myself, I wonder if he knows he's going. So
well, it's a business. They understand. Yeah. Players understand it's a business. And the guy I was sitting next to in the first half, because there was a jerk behind us, a drunk, loud jerk. And I kind of got up at around halftime, and I went, did my usual routine to do my stuff. And then I just said I got away. That's why I said maybe it's a good idea, because I knew Harvey was going to get into a fight.
Yeah.
He was just being belligerent. And I was like, it's not worth a night in jail, man. Come on.
Right.
It's just not. No, it's not. And well, the guy behind me, he thought he thought he was Al Pacino in Scarface, but he really looked more like Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. So you know what I'm talking about. So that's the big difference between the two. Anyways, back to it. So I told the guy next to me, I said, I root for the uniform, really. I'm not rooting for the players. And I just want to see the team do well. I want to see the team win. I think we all do. We're all in the same boat. And we want that. I think, and my point in my article too was we have the stability we wanted for the 20 years before we got it. And it's like the best way to start turning this around is to rely on that stability. That's
Mm.
my thought process. Is
It's a
thinking
good, yeah, it's a good
it's like,
thought.
wait, I said because I
Yeah.
remember one of the most stable organizations. I hate to say it, it's Pittsburgh,
Yes.
and they don't get rid of people. They don't do that. They kind of
They've also shown a huge consistency with being a 500 club or better. I mean, under his, they
yeah. They
constantly.
go 9-8, 10-7,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they haven't won a playoff game in 10 years. So I could see the people being like, "Hey, we want more," and
Yeah.
I challenge Steeler fans to go through what we have for 30 years.
Speaking of like loyalty, I don't know if you caught Jim Harbaugh's interview after the game for the
I did not,
Chargers,
but I heard about it.
but I've got it pulled up here on Twitter right now, but his mom grew up in Cleveland. His dad grew up in Mansfield, and
Yeah,
they got married in 1961.
in
And
Cleveland.
they went to the Browns game the day after their wedding for part of their honeymoon. And so he just talked about reminiscing and how they would spend a lot of time in Cleveland. And he was and the Harbaughs were Browns fans, interesting, just sort of story just about loyalty and, things like that, you don't hear those stories very often, but somehow the Browns, Cleveland kind of gets wrapped into all these famous personalities. Somehow a lot of people have come and gone through Cleveland in some form or fashion.
You know who was, very famous person, probably one of the world's most famous people ever, was a Browns fan, and it was Elvis Presley.
Yeah, really?
He was. Hank Aaron was.
Yeah, I knew Hank Aaron was. Yeah.
Yeah, Hank Aaron was. Yeah. So, like I said, there's some that are. Um, I just wanted to say what I think. I could see two guys. I don't see a fire sale happening
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow.
Zedarius?
Zadarius and maybe Greg Newsome.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, he's on the last year of his contract. I don't know if they're going to extend him or not. I mean, he's not great, but he's not horrible. I think Martin Emerson is having a down year
He really
compared
is. I
compared to the first
yesterday's
2 years.
game, there was a
Yeah,
couple plays where he got just
he
turned
got beat.
around.
He got beat,
Yeah.
turned around a couple. Denzel Ward had his worst game I think I ever seen him have as a pro.
Yeah.
That had to have been. And so I
Well,
guess
let me ask you about that with the communicate, like in the breakdown of those couple of touchdowns. I've talked to a few
I don't
different.
know. Yeah,
They
go ahead.
say that. Well, the one this on the second one, it should have been, from what somebody was telling me at work today, that he's a coach. He said on what he saw in that second big touchdown on that third and long when they went up 14,
It's like a
whatever.
60-yard. Yeah, 60
Yeah,
yard.
that Thornhill. It was that Denzel gave up because he thought he had Thornhill. They were in a zone, but it was Thornhill's responsibility. So he was blaming it on Thornhill. He said that should have been.
It looked like it. I said somebody the way you could read the body language. It's like, and I was telling I was like, the way he did that, it looked like,
and the way he sprinted, Thornhill did, to try to get.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit.
And then and I don't know. Sometimes you see these plays where they run, they sprint, and then the last 5 yards they just kind of give up. And I'm like, he could. I mean, I'm sorry from my end because he ran it into my side of the end zone. It looked like he had a good angle and he was speed. Like, I don't know. I just don't know what these guys.
My side. I was on the opposite side of the stadium.
You're on the opposite side.
So I didn't see that, but you could have had a better angle at it than I did. So,
well, it's just frustrating because, like you said, like yesterday, I mean, Myles Garrett just so. I mean, 3 sacks, just amazing. How many sacks does he have on the season now? He's got to have 9, 10
already.
Maybe
double digits already.
Well, he hadn't had one in 5 games. They said, which shocked me. They said that was like the longest stretch in his career.
Yeah. But we were still playing well as a defense. The defense just kind of fell flat this game, and the offense was just outmatched. Let me see stats. Let me see. I'm on the wrong team.
By the way, the Cavaliers are 8-0. You Cleveland fans, tremendous win. They were losing to Milwaukee late, came back, won late. So now they are 8-0. Darius Garland had quite the game. Going up against Damian Lillard. I didn't realize that the Milwaukee Bucks are really having a tough time so far this season. They lost again tonight, so they're 1-6.
He has 7 for the year.
7, only 7. Okay.
7.
So,
Yeah,
Well,
he
I
is.
mean,
He is. We still got 8 games, guys.
yeah,
We still got 8 games, so I
yeah,
mean, he can have 3 in one game. I mean, I could
yeah.
see him, especially when he plays on turf. So let me see what happened with the Saint. Who's the interim coach now, and what?
Let me. I don't know if you can get it before I do, but
Yeah, let me go ahead. I mean, I'm just trying to.
no. All right.
They lost
So
to the Panthers. Holy crap!
yeah, by a point. I know at the last second, so that's why I think they got fired. Let's see here. So just to let everybody know, again, we have a bye. This is our bye week coming
Yep,
up. So it
yep.
sounds like Lou, do you want to share? You and Sherry are going to do a Burning Browns show, not on
Saturday night.
Friday, Saturday
Sat
night now.
Yeah, because there's some family things that I have to take care of.
Yep.
And I talked. It was so funny because I remember. I Just like my wife reminded me of it.
Yeah.
Like I saw Sarah yesterday. I had to call her today and say, "Hey, are you okay doing this Saturday?" She's like, "Yeah." She
Yes.
didn't care. Yeah, she was fine with it. Let me see. I don't see any news. Let me
Here, I'll pull it
see.
up right now. I'm pulling it
I
up.
mean, they
They,
lost. Wow,
so
they
they
lost.
fired Dennis Allen after loss to Patriots to start the season.
He's the second coach to go this
Rizzy
year.
Darren Rizzi will be the interim.
And coach. So that's
Um,
2 coaches gone before week 10.
yeah. Let's see,
Robert
Rizzi.
Saleh and him and Dennis Allen.
So he was their defensive guy, Rizzi, who's going to be their new coach. It looks like. Let's see.
Interim.
Yeah, he'll be the interim. Um, well, we'll see. Both teams are
Yeah.
going to be. The Saints are 2-7 right now. The Browns are 2-7. I think I don't. Do the Saints have a bye next week too?
I
Or
don't think so.
I think they
I think
already
they
had
already.
one, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me look. NFL Week 10. Only one is the Browns that I see. Hold on. Let me see.
Oh my gosh, get this. You want to hear a little side note here, Browns fans? Um, guess who will be the defensive coordinator moving forward for the Saints? Your buddy Joe Woods.
Joe Woods, the guy.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Joe Woods will run the defense and handle play calling duties. Whoa. Clint
Okay, so
Kubiak will continue to be the offensive guy.
Thursday night's Baltimore Cincinnati. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I'm just reading up right now as learning about this stuff too. So that's interesting. Joe Woods will run the defense and handle play calling duties. How do you do that? So he's offensive and defensive? No, it just
No, just calling the
I
defense.
got you. Okay.
Yeah, he'll be calling the defense.
So
Let me
Joe
see who
Woods will he get his revenge against
yeah,
the Browns in
the
2 weeks?
Packers, the Raiders, and the Seahawks with the Browns have buys. Let me see who the Saints have because the Steelers are playing Washington. They're in Washington. Ooh, yeah,
Well,
Pittsburgh's in
Baltimore
Washington.
won again yesterday. They looked really strong in their win. A lot of people are saying what a fluke. How did the Browns beat the Ravens? I just think the Browns have always just been able to play the Ravens well. There haven't been too many games. It's the AFC North. These teams know what everybody's about and know their strengths and weaknesses. So
Yeah, they got the Falcons in New Orleans.
that'll be a good
So,
in New Orleans. Okay, so they have a stretch of a couple home games then because they're going to get Cleveland to go down there too. And you
mhm.
said Atlanta's coming into town. Atlanta just beat the Dallas Cowboys. Atlanta.
And I heard Dak Prescott is his hamstring. He's on IR. That was Michael Davis texted me that.
Oh, okay.
So
Um,
so if you got him on your fantasy, put him on the bench.
Kirk Cousins, the savvy veteran, who, by the way, I want you to keep this name in the back of your mind, Lou, because
He's coming here.
I think that Kirk Cousins potentially could be here in Cleveland a year from now.
It's
That,
possible.
yeah,
It's possible. I
I
wouldn't.
love the guy.
I wouldn't mind having him.
I
I wouldn't
mean,
mind
give
having
him
Kirk
the.
Cousins.
No, I think he'd be a nice little bridge quarterback to whoever, if
I
they
who do
decided the Browns. Do you think they'll draft somebody? Do we do
depending
that?
on where we're at, I think they. I guarantee you, they're looking at it. They have to. They have to think like, okay, we got about we got this year and the next 2 years with Watson's contract. I think 27 as well because of the restructure. So
Mhm.
there's things that but if you look at it, if you got a rookie and say like after a year with wouldn't mind some Cousins collection. Yeah, and Wayne, I got to meet Wayne yesterday. Wayne, good deal, man. Yeah, he was there
Yeah.
with Sherry. Yeah, Wayne Perry. Thank you. Yeah, I
Thanks,
wouldn't mind
Wayne.
Kirk Cousins being here. I wouldn't mind that.
No, he's a
He's solid.
reliable veteran. Yeah,
He's a
guy
solid
that,
guy.
and he's a Holland, Michigan, Holland Christian. I think he was Holland Christian graduate
I
back
wouldn't
there in
mind
Michigan.
Jacoby Brissett coming back. I wouldn't mind that either. Jacoby Brissett. I wouldn't mind. I mean, just a guy that shows up and does the job. Now, Winston is what he is. I mean, you saw he's a gunslinger. That's what he does, and you saw that. And well, Flacco. I mean, he didn't play too well. The
Who
Colts
won
had
that game last night? Did the
uh
Colts end up winning it?
no, the Vikings did.
Vikings held on. Sam Darnold, man, think about all these quarterbacks now. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Back in 2018, these two guys went at it in that game, week 3, when Baker got his first start. Thursday night football. You were there, Lou. It was a fantastic moment
Yep,
in
yep.
the history of
It
this
was fun.
recent
It was
history of this
fun.
Browns team.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me see. The other. Well, I was going to point out something that's Flacco had a horrible game.
yeah, he wasn't. The parts that I saw, he wasn't.
16 to 27, 179 yards, no TDs, 1 sack, 63.7 rating.
Mm.
Yeah, so so I mean, people that wanting Flacco back too. I mean, guys, come on. Let's I'm just saying. I'm just saying, Flacco was great. Don't get me wrong, and I appreciate what
No,
he did.
no,
But the man's, and I'm 51. I'm not a spring chicken either. But
yeah,
when 40 years old on a football field, it's like
right,
it
right.
catches up to it. Now I don't even know how old Cousins is, but who do you are you saying?
Excuse me.
God bless you. Are
Woo!
you are you thinking they're going to draft him? Because I'm trying to listen to some of this stuff about
Yes,
the
I
draft.
think they will, but I'm not versed right now. I have to give it. You and I will have to
Yeah,
look at
I
that.
was watching like Cam Ward a little bit in Miami.
Well, the kid in Miami, I really do like that. I mean, I've watched
Yeah,
a few of his
I
games.
don't want Deion Sanders' kid here. I do
So
not want. I
is
just don't want the drama.
DTR then? Is DTR like that's been the other talk today? Is like,
Is he done?
should we just let DTR finish off the season? But then some people are saying we already know what we've got in DTR, and we already know what we got in Winston. So let's just stick with Winston because even though he's Jekyll and Hyde,
I think I agree with the latter. I think we do.
uh,
Yeah, DTR. I mean, he's got a rocket for an arm, and he's like that. A lot of these
yeah.
receivers have to adjust to it. And actually, he's a good kid. I like him. I
Oh, I
like
think
him.
yeah, yeah.
And I think
I don't want the Sanders kid. I mean, jeez.
no offense to him, but it's just that the baggage his dad would bring.
But what if? What if?
What
This
if?
is
Let's stir the pot.
the stirring the pot is Sanders. The whole group comes as a package deal. Like Dion is the new Browns head coach.
Oh fuck no! Oh God no! Oh Jesus Christ!
Haven't you thought of that? I have.
No, you have, I haven't. I'm just like
We delusional Browns fans like myself. We think these.
We'll get
crazy
Nick
thoughts.
Saban out of retirement first.
No, I don't know who they're going to do, what they're going to do with the. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of the Browns need some more help on both the offensive and the defensive line moving forward. I like what you said earlier about DeJuan Jones working him on the left. I think he was solid as in Ohio State, and I did watch him a little bit in the game, and he seemed to be doing some good things. What do you make of? I'm annoyed with people on social media right now who like with Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is 3 games in. No, he's not showing every little step that he used to do. He's averaging under 3 yards a carry.
We'll see what he looks like next year.
But he had some nice runs. There was an 11-yard or 12-yard run. But somebody was like, well, he needs to be traded. And I'm like, to me, like, again, I think most Browns fans feel like Nick Chubb is a Cleveland Brown. And I think that the front office actually recognizes that. I don't know what we're going to get the rest of the season with Nick Chubb. I suspect that we'll continue.
I think we won't really see the full Nick Chubb until early next year.
Okay.
I really don't, and I don't think it's a good idea to trade him. But it kind of reminds me something else. Like some fans, when I talk to them, they just the thing I don't know where they get their information from, and I'm not just knocking on them. I'm not.
Yeah.
They're just going on big. Like one was saying that, well, we fired Bill Callahan. I said, no, we didn't.
No.
No, he requested to go be with his son, and we
Right.
accommodated him. We didn't have
Yes.
to do that. Oh, I thought we fired him. I said, no, we didn't fire him. Then, then they're one guy was just drunk and yelling about taxpayer money for the stadium.
Right.
We can't do that. We shouldn't do that. And I just asked him this question.
And right.
I just said, okay. I said, okay, you don't want taxpayer money for the stadium, if I understand you correctly, right? He goes, yeah, we should. Taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for the stadium. I said,
Mm.
then you should be for the Brook Park project.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he went, what do you mean? I said, right. What the Browns announced was that it is 2/3 of it's privately funded already.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The last third would be paid for by a usage tax for the people using the stadium and the surrounding complexes.
But with that usage tax, is that out of our pockets?
If you're going there, it'll be in the ticket prices, the concession prices, parking.
What do you suspect? That's, I guess, the next question. Like for you and I, like we're both season ticket holders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't spend an arm and a leg on season tickets, but I plan on getting season tickets. But I'm thinking I know what I'm already paying now, which isn't a ton, but it's definitely something that, you know, if they're going to build this stadium in 5 years, I'm just thinking, God, the prices will probably be double, I would guess, or close to it.
It could be, or it could be at least 10 to 15%. Everything's more expensive than it was 5 years ago now. So that's
true.
And I was going to say this too. It's like I budget to go to games. I budget to buy the season tickets. I go to games. I don't spend a lot of money. I take the Rapid because it's $5 all day.
Right.
I don't have to pay $100. There's people that like to pay $100 a park. They drink the whole time they're at the game. God knows how much they're spending money on.
You ever stay downtown there? Like I'm going up to the game on the Cavs game on Saturday, and I'm over there at the Hilton Garden. I'll be over there. Have you ever been over there? The one across the street from the Jacobs Field and the Cavs.
I know that.
Yeah, I think they got. Have you ever stayed there before? I think they've got.
I never stayed there, but I parked there for Indians games.
Okay, it's like $20 or something. But I'm going to go up there and just spend the evening up there because I'm going to go to the Cavs game later that night. So
that's not too bad. That's where the visiting teams usually stay for the Indians games.
Oh, really? Okay,
would be there. Yeah, that's what I used to. I don't know if they still do anymore.
Interesting.
Just like I said, sometimes the fans they get something in their head and they're going to stick with it. And I'm trying to explain to people, and it's my job to do what I do is to inform people and to let them know, hey, it's not always what you think it is. Like, you know, sometimes even with the play calls, that a lot of times quarterback could audible to something that didn't work. A lot of times they just didn't write there's so many things that could have gone wrong. But my thing was, and the point I was going to make with this person was that, I pointed out to Michael Davis, he was shocked because we were talking about how Dallas plays in Arlington. It's about a half hour away. Right. This is 10 minutes from downtown.
Yes.
This might be even the same zip code. I'm not sure. Right. It might be. So they're trying to invoke the Art Modell law, which makes absolutely no sense.
No.
And they know it's a Hail Mary. They know it's a political stunt.
Yeah.
They know that they know, and even the Browns were like, okay, give us some clarification on this.
So so it's got to be like, we already know that the Browns have said that they're more than likely to go there, but it hasn't been, you know, a stamp of approval yet, right? We haven't got an official announcement.
No official announcement, because I think the Browns need to make a PR opportunity to talk about the funding of it, because everybody's screaming taxpayer money. That's what they're trying to say, and that's what that's what the opponents are like. Even like the Cuyahoga County executive, which I live in a different county, say we're not going to give you taxpayer money, and we're like, we don't need it.
Right.
Like, we don't, go ahead. Just do your political grandstanding. Yeah. We don't need it. It's just like, you see, and when I told Mike Davis, like, what the plan was, he goes, that's amazing. I said, owner, at the same time, the owner just shut out this $300 million plan to expand the practice facility based on the feedback they were given. Plus, they're building a new stadium.
Plus, he's taking care of things down here in Columbus.
Yeah.
It's a very nice,
for the crew. And it's like, and then you have this owner that's spending $50 million more than the league on payroll. Now, the result on the field's not good. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We know there's no way of sugarcoating 2-7. That's a big
No.
turd in the punch bowl. There's no way of saying that.
Mm.
That's what it is. I mean, the season's been horrible. We all agree. But he's spending the money. You cannot say this guy isn't spending. 30 years ago, when Art Modell was here in '94, we would have killed to have this.
Yeah.
We would have killed to have this, and now
Yeah.
we have it. And these people are looking at gift horse up the ass. Is
Yeah.
what they're doing. And that's what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
just like, it's like, guys, you understand what you have in front of you. I mean, yeah, not every year is going to go the way you want it to. Not every game is going to go the way you want to. But for God's sakes, I remember what it was like to not have a team for 3 years.
Yes. Yeah,
God, this is me getting fired up. I'm sorry, but
let's pause for a quick break here on the Stirring the Pot with Lou
35-minute mark.
Marconi and Johnny Cleveland. We'll be right back.
I'm just going to be quiet.
And we're back. Lou was quiet for 3 seconds. Thank you very much, Lou.
It doesn't happen too often, right?
We're reminiscing. Well, I mean, the Browns have struggled this year, and now we have a lot of things to analyze and look at. Obviously, like you said, there's still 9 games left? No, 7,
8.
2 and 8. So 8 games left.
We're 2-7.
We got the New Orleans Saints away. They got a new coach. Where the Browns are going to go up against Joe Woods. That'll be interesting. And then the Browns come home and they play the Pittsburgh Squealers on a Thursday night game.
I will be there
the Thursday before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's really late this year.
Yeah, it's the 28th. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what I'm doing on that game night myself, but so they got a home game, and then I think they've got they've got some games coming up that are again.
Then they go
winnable.
to Denver. They go to Denver.
Is that a Monday night or a Sunday night game?
It's a Monday night game, and I was going to ask you about that. Did you want to move this show that night to Tuesday? It's a December 2nd.
Yes,
that would be wise because
and maybe we want to do our Thursday, like the Squealer show. Would we want to just do it? Well, you have your Burning Brown River.
River Brown style, yeah. Burning Brown River, yeah.
We can do Stirring the Pot.
We could do that Monday night before. We could.
I'm thinking that Friday. Well, I was looking at the Thursday night game first. We're talking about our schedule, folks. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
The Broncos. Yeah, we can do that Tuesday, and then they got to go back to school. So that's interesting. So we have a home game against the Steelers.
Twice
on the road
3 weeks.
At Denver, back to play the Squealers
in Pittsburgh,
and then we got Patrick Mahomes coming to Cleveland.
Yep, and then we go. Then we go to Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati on another Thursday night game,
and then we run the home season.
Sunday night game against the Dolphins. It'll probably get flexed out, is what I'm guessing. So I'm gonna guess that 8:00 game on a Sunday night will be just like a normal 1:00 game. That's my prediction.
You might be right.
And then we finished at Baltimore. So we could do some, let's say we're struggling. At least we can get to the Baltimore game. We could ruin Baltimore's chances at something.
Baltimore could sit everybody. They have everything.
That's true. That's true as well. Yeah, it's a good point. But right now, Pittsburgh's in first place, right? Or is it?
They are. But they got their go to Washington. Then after that, they play the Chiefs, the Eagles, and all 6 of their divisional games.
Who? The Ravens? No, the Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh plays all 6 of their divisional games. Wow.
And they got the Commanders, who's a much tougher team than we thought. They're coming into the season. They got the Commanders. They got all 6. They got the Commanders, Eagles, and Chiefs, and then they got all 6 of their.
So how many games do we win? How many games do you think we win the rest of the season?
I think we could win 5 or 6.
Okay.
Which I think it's possible. Well, honestly, I think how it depends on how we do against defenses. I think we have a chance. We could beat if our defense plays the way they should. We're going to be in every game. If we can run the ball, we have a chance. So that's the way I look at it.
Well, when we play these AFC West teams like the Chargers, like the Chiefs, like Denver, it seems like, well, especially the Chiefs and the Chargers, it always seems like those games are high scoring, usually more high scoring for the opposing team. Even the last 2 times I can recall, we played the Chargers. It was 2 years ago. We lost. It was back and forth. We could have won that game, but it was high scoring affair. And I think then we had played them the previous year. And the Chiefs, the same thing. We've been in these high scoring affairs. I don't know. I think when we play the Pittsburgh and Baltimore's and Cincinnati's, we can be in any one of those games because we've played them routinely, AFC North opponent. So when we play Pittsburgh on Thursday night at home, I think that we'll do well. Now, I'm anxious to see what the crowd will be like because that'll be the first game. We're 1-4 in home games this year, which is just crazy. We're 1-4 in home games, Lou.
If we come off the bye week and we beat the Saints, maybe people will be like, all right, we got Pittsburgh, it's the Steelers, and
it's a Thursday night before the holidays. People will want to get out and do something on a Thursday night.
What if the weather's nice? It's been a rather warm fall.
It has been. Oh, yeah. Well, Lou, you want to wrap things up here?
Yeah, check out my article tomorrow. It's going to drop at 10 a.m. on fansfirst.com and fansfirstsportsnetwork.com. I think what I'm talking about is just basically how tough times don't last. Mm-hmm. It's like that old saying, was it tough times don't last, but tough people do? Mm-hmm. Well, I said tough times don't last, but tough fans do. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like, guys.
Lou is one tough mother of a fan. I have seen Lou in person. And do not mess with Lou.
Yeah, Wayne, if you're still watching, you met me too. It was just so did.
When I think of Lou, when I see Lou, I think that he's going to turn into the Hulk, like the Green Hulk.
You see me pissed, it's great. It's amazing.
Oh, we've seen Lou pissed on our stirring the pot, so we're.
Oh yeah.
We don't want him to turn green.
No. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, well, Wayne, appreciate having it. Thank you. I didn't scare you when I met you, did I, Wayne? I met him. He was there with his daughter.
Good.
Yeah, man. He goes, yeah, man. You were a trip.
You were a trip. Thanks, Wayne.
I was just thanks, man. I was cracking a lot of jokes. I was. Good. I do that all the time.
Well, tune into Burning River Browns Talk. Turn into the Breezy Browns Talk with Sherry.
And don't forget to vote tomorrow. Do not forget to vote.
Go vote. Go vote.
And if you don't vote and you're not happy, then you have nothing to bitch about. Right?
No.
Right. You show up and vote.
Well, Lou, good night.
Good night. Good night.
Sayonara. Everybody, thanks for tuning in to Stirring the Pot with him and me.
Lou Marconi and Johnny Cleveland.
That's right. See you guys.
Have a good night. We will see you next Monday. Victory Monday. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Bye-bye.
We'll be back next Monday during the bye week.
Yes, we will.
We'll talk about a lot.
Love you, fans. Go Browns.
Right. Go Browns. Thanks, Wayne.
Appreciate you, Wayne. Spread the love. Tell everybody about